in terms of the quests that we skip, in this act we skip the quest for there is like a unique jewel quest, which is to kill like the monster like Utula or something like that, like in the middle of the square somewhere, like he's doing some kind of ritual, but you know, he's gonna summon Kitava anyway. We can't stop him in time. Let's just ignore that. It doesn't give any good rewards. So what you want to do is go to the ossuary. In the ossuary we get, I think, the staff of the innocence or something, right? And then we also get a recipe. And this area usually goes in a loop because you're gonna end up exiting where you entered. So you want to make sure that you go in like a loop. So in this case it goes to the right. So now we're going to the right, and then we're gonna go down left afterwards. So it ends up being a very small loop, and I keep like going further than I have to. But it's like a, for some reason, very tiny zone. I don't know why it made this zone so tiny. It's like a tiny little loop. Yeah, it's called Sign of Purity, not Staff of the Innocence. Fine. Oh, that's nice. Double res. And we get also green, blue, blue in it. So that's better than what we're wearing. I have to make sure to turn on my skitter bots. And we are missing a res, so we can recraft something. So I'm checking. Okay, I have too much fire, too much cold, so I could definitely switch the cold. But I do not have a scour. So I could buy a scour for chance orbs, but chance orbs are very, very valuable. So what I'm gonna do instead is use an alteration on the belt, which is magic, and reroll that, I think, right? Because I have still cold on it, I think. I cannot use alteration on the rare item, but this has cold, so I can do it like this. Jesus, I'm confused. Life. And we get some cold res, but that's not enough. That's good enough cold res. But I actually don't need cold res, never mind. I don't want the cold res. That's the thing I had too much of. I need the lightning res. It's very easy to stay capped. Like at this point you should definitely be capped on resistances. Like Act 4 is where you want to cap your resistances pretty much. Because you should have enough rare items that you can craft on them. And an empty suffix is actually like a valuable thing. Amethyst Flask actually can be sometimes helpful. The place that it helps with is Act 8, that freaking toxic sewers. Here we leave a portal. So the reason why we leave a portal here is to get quicker to the rooftop, because now we have to go across this entire square down to, I think, the reliquary, right? And in the reliquary we pick up all the 3 Kitava parts, and this gives us, I think, a skill point. And then we end up using a waypoint, so we do like a loop inside of it, inside of the reliquary, go back to the waypoint, and then from the waypoint from town we go through the portal to the rooftop. Gotta sell my items. Picking up a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna have like extra currency. You definitely don't wanna like skip too much on picking up the items, because later on a lot of the items you're gonna be picking up are gonna be going, for example, toward Chaos Recipe. So your filter should be geared towards doing Chaos Recipe in the first day of the league. And some people really have like a weird idea of the Chaos Recipe. Like some people say, yes, Chaos Recipe is great, you should do it. And some people are like, what? Chaos Recipe is for noobs, you should never do it, it's such a waste of time. So the thing is, both of them are right and wrong, right? Chaos Recipe is good early on, when you're just starting in the first day of the league. You're not gonna have enough chaos, you're not gonna have any great items to sell when you're farming Blood Aqueducts, when you're farming T1 maps. You're not gonna have anything great. However, you can get a very powerful item that will boost your clear speed. You can get something like a Tremor Rod that will help you kill stuff that is way stronger than what you can make out of rare items. So you can definitely boost the power of your character by quite a lot. And you need Chaos for that because you need to trade. You can also use it for better crafts on your items, right? So if you can use the Chaos for resistances, if you can use it for Zana mods, if you can use it for things like that, it's gonna help you a lot, and it's gonna speed up your progression. So early on, Chaos resistance Chaos recipe is very, very good, and you wanna make sure that you do it efficiently. You wanna have dedicated tabs, map tabs for it. Sorry, not map tabs, stash tabs for it. And in that sense, like making very quick, like 20 to 50 Chaos can be very nice in the first day. However, like if you already have an established character and you can just farm higher tier maps, like yeah, of course there's no point to do Chaos recipe at that point, because you just want to zoom faster, find the exalts, find the expensive items, progress your maps, and then later like farm, I don't know, Shaper and Elder fragments and sell them for 40, 50 C, right? Then at that point it's useless to do Chaos recipe. So definitely do Chaos recipe, but in the very beginning to get your character started. And then once you have a few Chaos, you can buy some basic items that your build needs. After that, you don't need it, right? After that, you can focus on just blasting and doing harder content and getting items that are more time efficient to pick up. Yeah? Approaching Kitava here. Should be an extremely easy fight, like extremely easy. This layout fucked my brain. I was so confused. I've never seen this before. Like, this is somehow closed and there is no way here. You have to go all the way back and go to the left side to like a long ass bridge thing. Like I don't know if any of you seen this before, but I have never seen this layout. It's so weird. I'm very happy with the damage here at this point. The damage is very, very nice. The skitter bots are doing amazing. Should not engage with those rare mobs. There's literally no point doing that. They have just insane amount of health, probably like extra life, resists elemental damage mods on them. Okay, so for Kitava, easy. As with any boss, we just stack the mines, leave enough mana so that we can flame dash and what's it called, Wave of Conviction, and just blast them. By the way, what level am I? I should be 38, right? I should be high enough level to use the Curse on Hit. I think I am already using Curse on Hit, no? I think I am. Because it's so much more damage. But I don't recognize the icon on the Wave of Conviction. No, this doesn't look like it. No, yeah, it does, never mind. I can see the icon of the curse, yes. So I am using Curse on Hit. So Wave of Conviction, Curse on Hit, Conductivity. So much more damage. Just phasing through these zones so quickly. Yeah, couple of mine activations and that's it for any of the phases. When you have so much damage, the fight just becomes way easier because you don't have to dodge anything. So yeah, that's like a 2 hours and what, 2 hours, 18, 19, 20 minutes Kitava. 2 hours, 19 minutes, yes. So for me, that's a good time, right? For me, that's a really good time. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what your times are. Obviously, I'm not a racer. Can't compete with people who do it and, you know, super quickly. like below 2 hours. But for me, that's a very respectable time, and I'm definitely very happy with that. Now we're just gonna do, in the beginning of this, we're gonna do the quest with Lily, and we're gonna do a couple of important swaps. So we're gonna get high impact mine and charged mines. High impact mine is definitely more damage than blast chain mine, and it really shows, like, when I watch people who are practicing their arc leveling and they're fighting specific bosses at that same point with having the same gear but just having different gems in the links, I can see like the increase in the single target damage, like the high impact mine swapping to that, and also the charged mines, pretty big deal. There are beasts here, dude. This zone never ceases to amaze me with like how much obnoxious shit it spawns. When you just want to clear it as soon as possible and be out of here, it's gonna spawn these guys, like the most obnoxious monster it can spawn that spawns more monsters. Jesus Christ, that's like the hardest thing to kill. And it's especially like when it's like abyss, and also crabs, right? This zone normally doesn't have crabs, but because of the beast it has crabs now, so yeah, they take like double the amount of time to kill them, and I'm not crit cold damage, so I'm not shattering them. Jesus Christ, so many more monsters. But fortunately nothing is bugged. I've seen this zone bugged a few times, and by bugged I mean like actually bugged, that shows monsters remaining, but there are actually no monsters. I've spent a lot of time just searching, okay, where is the tormented spirit flying around, but actually no monsters to be seen. Walked over every piece of the zone. There was never like any boxes opened so that there would be monsters like underground that didn't come out yet because you didn't walk on top of them. Yeah, that zone is so annoying sometimes. So charged mines and high impact mine. You can also pick up, if you have the currency, slower projectiles and inspiration for your ball lightning, and that's going to be a lot of damage. So yeah, once you are at full frenzy charges, you have a pretty good mine throwing speed, so that you're spamming them very fast, and if you stand in place as long as you would if you had the minefield support and you just spam your mines, you will do pretty much the same damage, but your single target will be higher, right? So that's why I like this option. And also at this point, I think I do not have the power charge crit mine node, which means I'm benefiting not only from the frenzy charges, but also from the power charges from charged mines. Because if you are picking up the power charges, then of course it doesn't help you as much, but if you are benefiting from the power and frenzy charges, then it's amazing. Why am I looking for the one? I'm trying to craft spell damage plus okay, I was trying to use my essence because I knew I had a good essence on this, because what you can do is at this point you can use essences, or you can just identify rare ones, and then you can go to the bench and you can see adds lightning damage to spells, for example. You need 4 transmutes for the tier 1, and then you can get higher tiers of that, and basically you'll either find a wand with added flat damage to spells or with percentage, and then you craft the other, right? And that gives you an item that has both, and also you might still craft resistances if you need on the ones. You might have a wand that randomly has resistances on them as well. Wands can have like so many different modes, it's crazy. So damage looks good. I throw like 3 mines and it demolishes everything. So that's like the point you want to be at. We have good flasks. Everything seems good here and on point. I like the more control that you have by not running the minefield. Minefield is good like early on, but the later you go, the worse it becomes, in my opinion. Transmutation. And people have all kinds of setups, like I've seen people using LA focus, no LA focus, like scatter bots, no scatter bots. If you play in hardcore, then it's definitely worth considering playing MOM and not running the auras, right? Not running scatter bots or heralds. And in that case, you don't also want to run elemental focus because you want to shock with your arc. So when you do that, naturally you free up a slot for like the minefield, for example, right? And then because you want to shock with your arc, and also you're going crit, then you want to deal more hits, so that more hits happen after the shock, and, you know, then it makes sense, right, to run minefield. So these later acts are definitely quicker than the first acts, because it's like, for me, it takes basically like 2 hours and a bit for the first 5 acts, and then like 1 hour to get to Blood Aqueducts, something like that. After that. Okay, what are my resistances? Definitely need to fix the lightning. We don't have an alch, but we can do it here. Roll 20, that's good. And then what else can we swap here? We can swap this for the wand. And then we get another 4-link chest. We get lightning res. We can also craft life on this. So that's a decent 4-link to have. So we are keeping this 4-link and swapping for a bit of a better helmet. So now let's see what are my resists after we get that. So this one, what am I looking for? Okay, I can just drop them here. And my resists right now still need cold. Still need cold and a tiny bit of lightning. And I have too much fire. So I think I can get a scour, probably. That's what I'm doing. Am I doing that? Looks like I'm doing that. 4 orbs of chance, so not gonna do that. What else can I do? I can... what else can we equip here? Why am I checking this wand? Checking this wand for some reason. So we definitely need to fix our resists. My brain is definitely thinking about something at this point. Do I want to put resist on this? Oh, different res. Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So I can put, where is like added lightning also on it or something. Doesn't really matter because I don't need the onslaught anymore. Ball lightning? No, control distraction. Ball lightning. Yeah, ball lightning, added lightning. Sure. We can run that as a additional setup. And that fixes our resist. So now we're missing only like 2 lightning res to be capped on everything, and that's fine. Cold res is important in this act because you're gonna end up fighting the crab, and the crab, if they freeze you, you're done, you know? If the crab freezes you, you can just get blasted. So we fight this guy. After killing these bosses, you get the Pantheon powers, but do not wait to talk to the Sin. Instead of waiting to talk to the Sin, just run away, just keep going, and then when you're in town, you can allocate your Pantheons. Yeah. Okay, make sure to stack the mines close to the things that I actually need to hit. The ball lightning ended up doing good damage in the beginning of this fight here. Like ball lightning, when you stack a lot of it, it really looks crazy and it deals crazy amount of damage. But I definitely should be leveling the inspiration as well as slower proj. Level 44 now, so 2 levels under the zone. That's actually pretty high level to be, like, if we want to go fast. I could afford to definitely be a couple of levels lower, but then I would naturally have lower damage and would have to slow down, and naturally it would be not as fast as now. Yeah? Leveling all the gems. The good thing about Arc is that it auto-targets, so when there are these like little crabs that are spreading around and running around, or two packs, one on each side, the Arc will target everything that it can hit, so it's very, very nice. That's why it's such a powerful skill. Yeah, and after practicing with it for a while and figuring out like the exact links, I'm pretty happy with like this being my Leaguestart. So 99% I'm gonna be starting with Arc Mines. I doubt they're gonna nerf it. Like, if anything, they might buff traps, and maybe traps are an option. But mines are very safe to start with, I think. So that's what I'm gonna be starting with. But I might also work on like different classes or different archetypes. So this is like a minor archetype, right? And usually people want to level in like 4 specific archetypes, I guess, or like 5. Like the main archetypes are like caster, bow, melee, right? So that's something you want to know. So probably I'll end up making extra videos for bow leveling as well as melee leveling, and then maybe also do generic caster leveling, although you can find plenty of that. And then also maybe we'll do something funky like totems or brands, because we're gonna have new brands. I wonder like at what level they'll come, right? Because the new brands, maybe we'll have something that comes like at a very early level. I'm sure the cool brand that applies to where am I going? Yeah, there is a trial in this zone, and I ended up backtracking all the way and being confused, but the trial actually is after the exit from this zone. And I knew it's in some fucky place like that, but I didn't think it would be actually like after the exit. So I ended up losing a lot of time here. As you can see, this run is extremely far from perfect, but I wanted to make a guide, and people were asking for like a longer run so that they know how to actually progress through everything, and posting like a full run like that gives me an opportunity to explain a lot more things than just like a little short run. We're walking into all of the traps. I hear them coming. There we go. Okay, we get stabbed again. Pick up the recipe. Wave of conviction. Yeah, I see a lot of people skipping Wave of Conviction. I would not skip it. It's so powerful. Especially at this point of the game. With the curse. Just the craziest single target damage boost you can have. So now we're going to fight Chevron. Lightning res is important here. We have like 73 lightning res, so we are perfectly fine. Pick up some sulfite. The damage is really good. Like, it even blows up the giant, I don't know what you call them, like coat hangers or whatever. The bird cages, or I don't know what it is. I guess bird cages, yeah, or something like that. I mean, to be honest, they're probably like torture cages or something, but let's call them bird cages. This one has a proxy shield. Nope. The Brutus fight is fairly easy, and then after that we've got the what is it called? Aberath, I think. So we have to find that, fight that, and then we fight the Rislatha, right? I think she's called. And I fight them right away because I find that it's like they're not difficult fights, they're very easy fights. Like I don't see a good reason to really skip them. Like I could understand with some builds that don't have single target damage, but this build has insane single target damage, so there's really no reason to skip them. And with having the skill points, another thing I didn't mention before on the like opportunity cost of doing skill points later, you're stronger with the skill points, so you level faster as well because of that. That's another way you save time by doing them right away. But definitely there is no like set right way that you should do every time. You should definitely judge it by like how strong your character is. If your character is strong enough to blast through these bosses, no problem, you do it right away. But if you like really wanna, like you really care about the time that you reach, like kill Kitava and then without all the skill points because you just want the time, then sure, do that. Or if your character is too weak early on and cannot kill these bosses easily. Gonna make sure to dump the Wave of Conviction on him. Trying to use Ball Lightning, seeing how it does, but actually the Arc was dealing more damage. The Arc was slightly better. Here, make sure you do not log out immediately. Go down, pick up the recipe. That is spell damage rank 2, which is useful. And right away after that you can log out. You can sell stuff from here. Get a 4-link if you didn't have a 4-link helmet. Unfortunately, my helmet is much better than this. So I'm gonna keep my helmet, but this 4-link you can use if you didn't have a good 4-link helmet before. So now we go to Prisoner's Gate. In this zone you have to find 2 entrances, right? One, this is gonna be I think where the road leads, which is not where we want to go. So this is the Western Forest, right? And so you want to go to the other one and find the Valley of the Fire Drinker or whatever it's called. Artisan Strongbox. Okay, let's see if it freezes me. Yes, it freezes me and it detonates dead. Beautiful. Somehow I didn't die. I have no idea why or how, but we survived the most deadly combo of mods you can have on a box. DD and freeze. I guess the blind works and I didn't take damage from other stuff. So if Nessa is on top right like that, then you're gonna have to go down to find the Valley of the whatever dude. Fire Drinker, yep. We deal a lot of damage to this guy. Yeah, that was on a 3-link Ball Lightning, by the way. 3-link Ball Lightning, which one of the links is taken by the Mind support. So it's a 1 damage link Ball Lightning. And here I want to stack the... I think I'm stacking Arc here, right? No, it's Ball Lightning still. Still Ball Lightning. Almost dead. There we go. Yeah, Ball Lightning has not single target damage. And I'm not even... It's not even my primary skill that I'm using. Wait, what's this box? That's Arcanist, that's currency. That's also worth doing. Kill the annoying beast before I open that. Because it's spamming explodey lions. And we get a bunch of currency now. So if we still needed to craft some resistances, we have transmutes to craft the res on anything we want. You can see I killed that beast, and then I always wonder whether Einhar picks them up, but you can look at the count. You have like help Einhar catch the beast quest text on the right side, and it says like 1 out of 5, and then if you run away and he still captures the beast, even if it's off your screen, it will jump to 2 out of 5 or whatever. So that's how you can tell if Einhar is actually picking them up and capturing. But that's a kind of an annoying thing that I wish I didn't have to even think about, because it makes you like, it forces you to stop, you know, and watch something. I'm going out of my way here because there is a craft here. You don't have to pick it up. It's just attributes, I think rank 3. But I do want to pick up this craft here for the thing I'm gonna be doing. I want the recipe, so I'm picking up this craft. Other than that, there's nothing in this zone, so you just follow the road and go to the top and go to the next zone. And here you want to find the waypoint, and then if you have no balls, you continue and kill the boss later. If you have balls, you go to the left and kill the boss now. And it's gonna be the boss that deals chaos damage as well, and we have really low chaos res. It's in the negatives, so we're gonna have to dodge. We're gonna have to dodge or die. There are monsters here that a lot of people miss. You can see my blind debuff popping on top of them, so I can easily see them. They're like these little worms. But if you're playing like an occultist or someone, or if you're playing like with like a blasphemy aura, you're gonna see the debuff on top of them. If not, they're really hard to see on the ground. But they're there and they give XP. Probably not much though. Still going back and forth between the different mines that I'm using, just testing how it feels at which point, and if the thing doesn't move, ball lightning is nice. If you can like guarantee hitting with ball lightning is very nice. But if you cannot, if the boss is gonna move around, then the arc is definitely stronger, because it deals like marginally lower damage, but it hits every time. At this point you just want to log out and you're gonna continue from the waypoint, and also you can pick up your skill points because you just killed a bunch of bosses and you get your reward. I'm saying that helmet because I figured, okay, I already have a helmet that is like almost as good and I crafted on it. I'm not gonna replace it for that one, so we can just leave it. A bunch more like generic spell damage now, and I think also cast speed, although cast speed doesn't help me because we're using mines anyway. Here you want to go like to the right side. That's how you like cut a little bit to the right, don't follow the road all the way. And that's how you find the entrance to the southern forest. And in the southern forest, you go down and to the right until you find like little log bridges. Like here's the first one, and then you go to the right and actually up, and you'll find more of them. I tried to like smoke mine to the top, but I think it's probably too far. I could have tried more, but I don't know if it's worth it. And at this point, I think chaos res is like you should have plenty of resistances, right? Normally, so you should aim to like overcap yourself a little bit, and then you're gonna end up being able to use crafts with like the chaos hybrid crafts. Not sure where you find them from, but later on they're very useful for characters that have low chaos res and are not going CI or anything like that. You're gonna be able to put like, you know, 14% fire, 14% chaos res, these types of crafts on all of your suffixes, and that can boost your chaos res by like 70% or something like that. Even, you know, if you get like a 4 of them or 5 of them. Yeah, this zone, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. In this case, it goes down, I think. Nope, never mind. It goes up. So here you want to make sure, if you don't have capped cold, make sure that that's the resistance you're prioritizing. If you have, like, if you're really struggling with the resistances, you can keep extra set of rings on you. You can keep, like, you know, sapphire rings that are rolled with something. You can basically have like specialized rings that you put on for certain fights, but I don't think it is really required. Like, you should definitely be able to find gear that is good enough. So we're going through the beacon, aka the beach. Here is where, for some reason, I felt my damage falling off slightly, but I'm not sure if what it was caused by. Like, maybe I was doing something wrong, but it felt like my damage... I'm still throwing, like, how many mines? Let's see. 2 mines. Let's count how many mines I'm throwing. Like 2 mines, 4 mines. Because 4 is about the time of the minefield support. This is like 2 minefield supports. It killed enough. It's actually pretty much the same as minefield support. It feels at least that way. Feels very, very similar. We got another recipe here. That one is life and mana, so not very useful unless you know, you're like Hierophant, whatever.
Alteration.
Very easy to do this this quest or whatever, this escort with arc, because it auto targets. So you never have to worry about like walking out of the zone or anything. Just keep spamming mines and that's it. And then there's the cool skip animation cancel you're gonna see in a bit, where you can actually drop a mine next to the torch thing, and then you light it up, jump back, jump forward, jump down, and that way you can actually talk to the guy before the boat even appears on the screen. You can like talk to the guy that jumps out of the boat before that boat even appears on the screen. This is zone level 49. We're not far below that, so we're doing very well on levels. Never like in the danger. Like, I'm not that fast. I probably like overkill a little bit, so I end up being like 2 or 3 levels below the level of the zone usually, and I find that it's a very comfortable spot to be in. Yeah, so here you want to leave a mine next to it, jump down, activate the mine, jump down, and talk to him, and then you sail, and then the boat approaches. A little bit of time travel. I have that skip also explained in the video I have about mine skips. These guys, they use smoke mines or like some kind of like weird flickered smoke mine hybrid skill, and they're like big rocks. I don't know what's up with that, but they're very annoying, and they're like stunning when they do that because they have like reduced enemy stun threshold or something. Plus my life is very low anyway, so anything can stun me at this point. Yeah, Got some extra beasts here, extra gorillas on the beach. Gorillas, pirates, and vicious rocks. A great zone. Yeah, this zone is not happy farming. Everything has so much life here. It is good XP though. It's a very good XP zone. So this guy, like, it takes so much for Nessa to talk here. So you can take care of your gear here. You can do your Tetris in the inventory. You can do everything you want, and then you stack the mines. I am stacking ball lightning here because I'm gonna be able to hit him with everything before he moves. Didn't take that much damage. I don't know if it's the ball lightning's fault or I messed something up. Maybe he's hexproof. I don't know. Definitely bosses have reduced effectiveness of curses on them, but the Wave of Conviction still has pretty much full effect on them. No, he does get cursed. He does get cursed and blinded. Right now we phase him very quickly. This fight is very claustrophobic at first. Like when you first try it, you're like, what the fuck, and you panic and you run around, but then you realize you just have to stand in one spot and very rarely move when something actually appears under you, you know? You just basically stand in one spot and something appears under you, okay, you move a tiny bit, you know? You move as little as possible, and actually it's easier if you move less. So here you can teleport, you can log out. You can put your pantheons, allocate both of them because you get a big one and a small one now. You can get your rewards if you didn't get rewards from any quest yet, and then you can basically use the waypoint to get to the broken bridge. Trying to get a good flask. That's a suffix. That's freeze removal and bubbling, which is good, but I want the bleed removal. So we rolled bleed removal, we got lucky, reduced charge used. And then this flask is going to my stash, and I'm gonna save it for the future character, just like I saved the crafted ones. And that makes leveling another character just so easy. You got wands and flasks, all you need. For a caster at least. Our resists look fine. This quest in this zone we skip, like I at least skip this quest, like finding the amulet of the dude or whatever it is. There's a bunch of quests, and then another quest I skip here is the necklace one, right? It gives you an amulet or whatever. Like you can do it if you want, but I prefer skipping it. Like, as much as I don't skip the skill points because it's actually useful to do the skill points, I definitely skip like the item quests whenever possible. I find them very useless. Every time you level Arc, it feels good. Like every time you get an extra level on the spell gem on Arc is really good. And that's one of the reasons why Tremor Rod is so powerful, because it gives you extra levels to your main spell skill, right? So whether it's Ball Lightning or Arc, it's gonna have a higher level. And you pick up a waypoint there, and then you go down to Fellshrine Ruins because you're gonna need a map for the scuffed map device in the Chamber of Sins. Going back for a chromatic like it's actual money. Okay, using all the flasks, we get Onslaught, we get extra evasion. I think on Onslaught I rolled extra evasion as well. Like percentage increased evasion on the silver flask, which is very nice because when I use them all. So I get that bonus together with the 3000 increased evasion from the flask, and it stacks and it's very nice. And yeah, here you want to look for the trial. So I see the door at the bottom right. So that might be the entrance. That might be the exit, actually, of like entrance to the next zone, but from the next zone. You'll see when I get there. But usually you're gonna see the trial in the opposite side. So we get the trial here, which is very easy. And then we're gonna go back and go in the direction that we saw the entrance to try to find the sarcophagus. Why am I entering here? There's nothing here. Okay. These guys are a bit nasty. These little ghosts, they do EK, right? So when you have a lot of evasion, when you rely on evasion, then the skills that hurt you are physical damage spells, which there are not that many, but EK is one of them. So that's a really nasty thing. So as you can see, like this is the entrance here, right? That thing that we saw, the doorway, was actually for the next zone.
Alchemy.
Get an extra alchemy, always nice. And there we go, here's the map. And with that map, we're going to Sins, and then there is another trial in Sins, as well as the Maligaro dude. We're 49 and 51 zone. So again, like 2 levels behind the zone. I'll enter the next zone. I'll be like 3 levels behind the zone. That's a very like a good sweet spot to be in, I think. Like if you're the same level as the zone, you're definitely killing way too much. Like if you're above the level of the zone, like okay, if you're a new player, fine. You're like learning and you're going slow, fine. But you definitely don't want to overlevel too much, because later on when you get to like, first of all, you don't get XP penalty even if you're like 4 levels and below the zone, right? The higher level you are, actually no, the lower level you are, the bigger it is. I gotta look it up, but at least like 3 levels below the zone, there should be no XP penalty here at this point. But that's like the sweet spot you want to be in, because you don't want to kill too many monsters, right? You want to make sure that you're only killing what's efficient. So like big packs, blue packs. You don't wanna stay too long and kill like all the rare monsters, right? It's not efficient. You just wanna move on as soon as possible. I end up doing a full circle around this zone, like 360. Like I'm going for the explorer achievement. Discover all of the zones in their entirety. Yeah, you gotta find the bridges here. That's what you're looking for. If you find the bridge, that means that's the way forward. Like a little swamp bridge. There we go. So this boss, this is very interesting, because I am using 3-link ball lightning, right? 3-link ball lightning, wave of conviction, and this guy gets phased instantly. He does 1 attack, he summons the ad, okay? Now this guy gets phased instantly by the arc. Look at that. Now he's gonna go and summon something instantly. Like I'm phasing him. Every single phase is just like 1 hit, done. Like it's insane damage. And for some reason I saw like a other streamer doing this type of build, and because he was using minefield, and because he was using, I think, blast chain mine instead of high impact mine, his damage was so much lower. It was crazy. Like he was struggling with this boss, right? He was not doing enough damage, and like you can see how much of a difference the high impact mine and charged mines actually makes, right? And it's really huge amount. And also the wave of conviction, right? Like the way I use the wave of conviction, like after stacking it, wave of conviction, and then everything hits, is a huge damage. He might have also been going for more damage, like crit, on the skill tree. But I think actually this way is plenty enough damage, as you can see. Like, why would you need more damage when you're already facing bosses? And you could have much better ones at this point as well. You could have like a bunch of spell damage and flat damage on them. I think I'm missing the trial here, right? I think it's like to the back. That was a nasty degen. So this is, I know this is a way to the exit. And this is a hideout, like, and down I'm just getting debated because there's nothing there. So I'm looking for the trial, but I actually missed it. It was like kind of to the middle, but to like the top left. This zone is like pretty widespread for how it normally looks like. I am going to try to make like a hallowed flask work with it, because I'd like to make fortify actually work with it. I was thinking about maybe anointing fortify, the hardened scars, and having a hallowed flask. The thing is, like, if you have hallowed flask and it's enduring, the problem is that it's, I think, less duration and less recovery. And the duration is really the annoying part, right? Like you really want as long duration as you can on the fortify flask. Plus, we're also not really picking up flask nodes. This is really like a Pathfinder thing. Like, it's really nice on Pathfinder. Actually, I have a hunch that in the next league, the hardened scars is gonna be just on a passive skill tree. You won't have to anoint it. You can actually grab it from a passive skill tree. Like, I pretty strongly suspect that that's gonna be the case. That's 25 movement speed. Ooh, we gotta make space for that somehow. So we need more strength in order to equip those boots. 25 movement speed is pretty huge. Going to the den. And I'm going to the bridge encampment because I want to like make sure that I somehow find a way to equip these boots. So I'm looking for like this. I need to Orb of Chance, Chaos res. The ruins my res because I have fire res on the amulet. So I'm looking for a different way. So okay, this one is probably doable. And we get cold resistance on that. And another open suffix. So this is amazing. Actually an upgrade. And then we can use the 25% move speed boots. And then we can just check how our resistances look. And we are missing the fire res. So we can craft fire res on this. We only need 15. So we can guarantee that with one transmute. And we're done. Only missing 2 lightning res to be capped. But that's perfectly fine at this point. So we can sell everything, we can sell these boots, could keep them potentially for the next character I'm leveling, but whatever, probably gonna just buy, what they're called? Wanderlust boots, yeah. I think they're 20% move speed, right? Or something like that. Yeah, Wave of Conviction definitely helping with like magic packs. Oh my god, this beast has like a parasite on it. I haven't noticed that before. Deadly koalas jumping at us. And we are level 50 in a 53 zone. So we're keeping up with like being the 3 levels below the zone. Actually, we're gonna be like 4 levels below the zone when we enter the next one, I think. But that is perfectly fine, because as soon as we are in Blood Aqueducts, we're gonna catch up so much, right? So here you can see I'm pathing toward my little elemental overload like side damage test because it doesn't work with mines, but I was testing if I get enough hits from other sources for it to be worth taking, but I immediately like kind of regretted it. It's like, nah, it's not worth it. Because you're gonna be going for crit anyway, like it's not worth patting there because right after you pick up the Templar nodes, then you're gonna be picking up crit, so yeah, it's not worth it. This is a pretty rippy boss because again he deals physical damage and I think it counts like as a spell when he channels and then starts shooting. So when he does this animation, then you wanna fuck off because he's gonna have this spell charged up. I think it's a spell, it's like this one, yeah? So you wanna hide behind the pillar when he does that. And fortunately we're using arcs so we can like arc mines so we can like spam from around the corner and kill him anyway. So for Arc Mine's character, this is not a scary fight. But for many other characters, this is a very scary fight. In this zone, I'm definitely skipping the Talisman quest, or like the Amulet, whatever. But I am doing the skill point from this thing we're skipping. And you need to make sure if you want to skip it, to never pick up the item from the NPC, because you can't get rid of it. You have to do the quest. So here we gotta pick up all the fireflies, and we're also gonna kill the giant white or rather gray beast for the skill point. It's a scary one, but we have enough damage to kill it without dying. This recipe, that's a fire damage recipe. Man, I'm hyped for some fire damage slams in the next league. It's gonna be great. And we're gonna have a lot of money from playing this miner, because I have never planned my Leaguestart as well as this one in terms of like everything, including like some of the Atlas progression and everything. We're just very well prepared for the next league. And the crafts are insane as well. I'm gonna make a video about the crafts as well that they revealed recently. It's really absolutely nuts. Like, sacrifice a map to get 3 Zana missions. Like, what? I mean, are they red tier if you sacrifice red tier map? Because if so, then that's absolutely insane. We almost died, but we didn't die, so still counts as deathless. There we go. We're done with this guy. He's very scary, but especially as he gets low health, right? Because you get like a stacking debuff. The lower health this guy is, the more damage you take. So you gotta burst the last few percentage down very quickly. I think he was like slowing me with something, so, and I ran out of my flasks. Probably I ran into that fight without them. So I was not able to run quickly away from him, but we did it anyway. So I think last 2 fireflies, and then we can progress. And after that is just like the Arakali, right? I think the spider thing, and that's it. And that's after that one last act before Blood Aqueducts. And from Blood Aqueducts, I definitely recommend on Blood Aqueducts either farming yourself a tabula or farming like picking up items for your chaos recipe. You might not be able to do chaos recipe because you'll be missing like amulets or rings, and early on you might even want to identify them because you want to pick them up to just have some gear that you can wear. But I definitely recommend starting to do some chaos recipe, picking up, have a couple of tabs. Like if you have quad tabs, I would recommend like having a quad tab for armors, having a quad tab for like helmet, helmet, boots, and the gloves. Then having a regular tab for weapons, and you only pick up one-handed weapons. And then having a regular tab for jewelry, because of course you're not gonna have much of that. That's the thing you're gonna have the least of. Yeah? Checking out the jewels, trap throwing speed, all LRS. Not for me, not for my character. This recipe is cold damage rank 2. So that's important if you're doing some cold stuff.
Chaos.
We get a chaos, that's nice. I skip Alva early on. I find Alva to be, like, I find the temple to be really bad. The one reason why I might do temple now is because I really have something that I will want to double corrupt. Because usually the double corrupt I don't care about that much, because what is it, like the gems? Okay, I can buy them easily. But I have an item in mind that I would like to double corrupt this league that is fairly cheap to pick up, which is why I'm not saying what it is. But it's fairly cheap to pick up. But double corrupting it can have huge benefits. That's like the first time I really have something like that very specific in mind. So I'm going to be going for the corruption, and if I brick the item, right, I just do it again and buy the item, not a problem. But yeah, other than that, the Alva Temple seems to be very, very bad. Like this league, I have run incursions every single time. I have depleted my Alva missions, and I have not run a single temple after running like 2 in the very beginning. Like I ran like 2 temples and I was like, why am I even doing this? Let's just save time by doing the more efficient mechanics. And so I skipped all of the temples, and you just need to make sure to talk to Alva, open a temple, and then continue mapping and just do the incursions. You can see, like, you can follow the pattern I took to do the layout. I know that the ancient city, or whatever it's called, the previous zone, has a fucked layout and people get lost there. What you want to do there is, I usually go around the edge, and then when I know I'm like far away from the entrance, I cut in wherever I see that there's like a path leading in. You can see like a path leading in. That's like a break into a wall, you know, like normally you have a wall around it and you cannot go in, but when it breaks and you have like a path in, that's where you go, and that's how usually you find it. I usually find it pretty much exactly the same way. I just like go around and then I see a way in, I go in and it's there.
Alteration.
For this boss, I think you might want to have some chaos res, but it's really hard to recommend having chaos res in the story, right? Like the only way you would have it is if you were somewhere close to the chaos res life, which is like between Templar and a witch, and somewhere close to like the method to the madness or whatever it's called, like the chaos dot over time passives, and so you can pick up that, and that will give you some extra chaos res. Other than that, the amethyst flask, which you won't always have, but if you have the amethyst flask, it's such a low uptime that I really don't recommend it for that. The only thing I used it for, like the only real use for it I had, is to fight the Phenomus or whatever it's called, that scorpion that gives you the, or a spider that gives you the aspect of the spider craft, because it deals insane chaos damage. So that's yeah, that's what I did, and it actually paid off because it was very easy to kill it, and I ripped to it before. Don't worry about that elemental overload. Do not go for elemental overload. You can just follow the skill tree that will be in the path of building. That was just like a separate experiment with the elemental overload. And I immediately refunded it because it didn't do what I was thinking of, and yeah, obviously it doesn't work with mines, so don't try it with mines as well, or with, I think with totems would it work? I think totems offensively, I'm not sure actually if it works with totems. I don't think it does, or maybe it does. Not sure. I know for sure it doesn't work with mines because nothing like that works with mines. So this zone, you just go to the top. It's right by the entrance pretty much. And you stack the mines. And we have Einhard to help. I actually had Einhard to help me with a fair amount of fights in this run. He's been a very nice friend and helped me with the fights. I got blasted here by this chaos damage. I didn't even look at my screen because I was looking at the inventory. And Arakali was down and I didn't know that it can spawn when she's down. She's picking up the guy, I think he's called Silk or something. Wave of Conviction, and then we blast her. For some reason my damage is low. I should have stuck to Arc, probably. She's taking very little damage, there we go. And we can continue. And that's now gonna be the last act before the Blood Aqueducts. And here there's again a ton of chaos damage in the sewers, and when you kill zombies in the sewers and whatever it's called, that zone, they're gonna drop like a degen cloud of chaos, and you want to move out of it as soon as possible. You're just gonna keep running and use your life flask, and as long as you're killing stuff and moving forward and using your life flask, you're gonna be fine. Because it's not that much damage, but if you stand in it, yeah, it's gonna kill you. Arcanist Strongbox. Later on when you're mapping, when you have plenty of currency, throw an Alcon, stuff like that, because it pays for itself. There are different patterns to how people do this zone, and I find those kind of weird. Like, people do a lot of the time go to Solaris and then go through Solaris to I think Solaris Concourse or something, or whatever it's called, and then to what is it called? Not Blood Aqueducts, the Promenade, you know, the thing between the Lunaris and Solaris, right? And people do it that way. However, they still miss the skill point, right? And then the other zone. And I think like you gotta go both ways, right? And then you just skip you just skip the Solaris zone, right? Like I never enter it pretty much, right? I never enter it, but you have to enter one of the zones, right? I guess. But I still find it a little bit faster that way. So you either enter the Promenade or whatever on the left side, or you enter like the Solaris zone on the right side. You have to choose one anyway. But regardless, now you're gonna, in the passive skill tree, head toward the Templar cluster. Around Templar are such insane nodes. I don't know, Templar has just crazy nodes. Like the skill tree around Templar is just so powerful. Killing and moving on, and use your life potion, because you see my health is going down very quickly when I'm in the degen, but you just want to kill stuff and move on. Killing stuff quickly because of the wave of conviction. And then the Doedry fight after that is like one of the scariest fights in the campaign. Like I found it to be this one and the big gray beast, like Gruthkul or whatever skill point. Those are like the most rippy, hardest fights in the campaign pretty much, and they're so much harder than the rest of the act that they're in. It's kind of crazy. Not sure why they're like that, like such big outliers. Like if you don't have crazy damage, you're getting super punished in those fights, as opposed to like other fights where that actually doesn't happen. You just do them slower, right? If you don't have huge damage. But this fight, you don't have damage, good luck. You're gonna suffer so much in this fight. But we have plenty of damage, so it's gonna be easy. Yeah, we don't even have to use the valve or anything. She's dead. So we pick up the craft recipe, and then I prefer going to the right side first and doing the Solaris first. What did I drop? Ah, no, I didn't drop anything. I just went the wrong way. We gotta go down. What's this wand? Cold damage added to spells. It's pretty good amount of cold damage. Way. So here you want to go most of the time it's gonna be down, so you want to go like down and stick to the left side, and that way you're gonna go and find first the Ankh or whatever that you need to find for the ritual, and as you continue then you're gonna like stick to that same wall, kind of like in labyrinth, like that rule to get out of a labyrinth. Stick to like left wall all the time or right wall all the time, and you're gonna find the exit. Here it's kind of the same thing. You wanna stick like to the bottom left, and first you're gonna find the Ankh, and then you're gonna like go to the right side along the wall, and then still down most likely, and that's where the ritual site is gonna be. Yeah, so here we just continue this way. You can smoke mine through, and then it's gonna be to the left. So I should actually go up and to the left. Yep. You might miss it. Like if you don't know to go this way, you might miss it and then like walk in circles. So you gotta make sure that you're like pushing to the bottom side. And now it's gonna be left again, right? We gotta stick to the left side. This is a pretty good XP zone as well. There's a healthy amount of packs here. Pretty good density. I don't think I want to bother with this one. I noticed, okay, it takes no damage. Let's leave. It takes absolutely no damage. And we have Einhard to help us again. Yeah, I'm happy not using Minefield here. For sure. The single target is way better, I think. Armor is scrap, and now Clarissa will have a skill point for us. And then you wanna like kind of stick to the bottom, right? So you go right, and you go like up right, but you stick to the bottom side of it usually, and that's how you'll find the exit to the grain gate or whatever it's called.
Chisel. Transmutation.
Okay, and in this zone, usually you want to go to the left. You don't go to the right side because it's gonna be like a dead end a lot of the time. So you go to the left, and then you just make sure to not skip the guys that are standing in front of like the gate. I think it gives a skill point or something. I'm actually not sure what this quest gives. I never actually questioned doing it. I just do it. Might have to check. So let me see. I actually have the list of quests here. So if we look at the quests, and this is Act 8, right? And we have, what is it, the Gemling Legion? That gives you a book of skill. Okay, so this gives you a skill point, so it is actually worth doing. And usually it's gonna be like in this open area, so you can see it here. In like the most open area, you'll see it. And there's a lore book next to them, so easy to find on the minimap as well. And then you go usually up or to the right, and that's where you'll find the exit from here. So there are two ways of like progressing from Solaris to Lunaris here, right? One way is to go like through the middle of it, but you're gonna have to like go through the entire thing. Harbor Bridge, I think it's called, right? Or something, whatever. But the other way, I think, I like it more because not only is the same amount of zones, but also you get to the on the side of it that you find a waypoint, which means you can do the trial and you can do the like cold terror thing, like the jumpy grasshopper thing, skill point, and then you can log out and you can use the waypoint to continue from there, right? So you don't have to like but actually you could use the waypoint from the Lunaris concourse, so I guess it ends up working out to be pretty much the same. I will have to test it more. From what I know, most people prefer, and most people say that it's faster to do it by going through Harbor Bridge, right? Maybe it is because you don't have to look for the way, like if you don't have to navigate it, right? So maybe the Harbor Bridge actually is the quicker way. Either way, you can do it both ways, and it shouldn't be a big difference. Here you want to go like up. Like right now, you see where I turned. If you kept going straight, you would get out of this zone and go to like the Solaris, zone, and then to Harbor Bridge. So you want to make sure that you like cheat toward the top, like you switch your direction to go up, and that's how you're gonna go to Solaris 2.
Alteration.
Find another 4-link, but we have a pretty good helmet equipped. These nodes are now really good because we're gonna pick up some extra elemental resistances. I think it's like 12% LA res to all of them, which is huge. Like that's such one of the most powerful notables like on the skill tree that you pick up. It gives you like LA damage, it gives you LA resistances, it gives you chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. It gives you increased physical damage. So for builds that like convert damage is massive. We can pre-stack this guy here with a bunch of balls of lightning. And he takes a lot of damage, and so do we. And that's the first item for Chaos Recipe that I see. This is where you can find the first, because this is a boss, right? So the items are a little bit above the items that normally drop in that zone. So you can drop items for Chaos Recipe. Want to make sure that you pick up the relevant resist ring. Miner, like Shadow, also has an option of picking up a 1-point jewel when on the path to like on the path to the mine throwing speed next to the low life keystone. So if you find a jewel that's actually usable, that has decent stats, you can use it right away while leveling, and you don't have to sacrifice any travel points for it. It's very, very useful. Like for example, if you find like added damage to spells, mine throwing speed, or like percentage life, mine throwing speed, or something like that, you know? Things like that are very helpful. Holy Dominion, like more like holy shit, that's a good notable node. So now we're going through Promenade instead of going through Solaris and Solaris Temple, right? Getting through like the second half of the Solaris Temple and then the Solaris Concourse or whatever, which would equal this zone, and then going through the Harbor Bridge. Like, how is that fast? Yeah, I don't know. This seems faster to me anyway. But convince me otherwise. So from the Grand Promenade, we're gonna be in the bathhouse and we're gonna pick up a waypoint. And there are multiple things to do there. Like there's a lot of things to do there. So in the bathhouse, one thing that you wanna do is the trial, of course. Another thing you wanna do is to do the skill like the Wings of Vastiri or whatever, because they give a reward that's a rare jewel that gives you 2% reduced mana reservation. In this league, it's insanely expensive, and you could sell one for about 50 chaos, like 30 to 50 chaos in the trade league. And if you manage to corrupt one and get additional 1% reduced mana reservation, it was 30 exalts. A quest reward, 30 exalts if you get really extremely lucky and corrupted it for additional reduced mana reservation. So probably it's not gonna be 30 exalts in the next league because people are not gonna have that much currency in the next league and people are not gonna have that much need for reduced mana reservation, but I'm sure some people still will be playing Herald Stackers, some people still will be trying stuff with reduced mana reservation because they learned this league that that's actually pretty OP, and a lot of people are gonna be in the need of that. So definitely do this quest, which is killing this guy, and keep that gem until the price of it is like above reasonable, and then sell it. Now we're gonna go to the trial, and after this we do a skill point and then get the Lunaris, a little ball, and after that we are pretty much fighting Lunaris and Solaris, and that's gonna be the end of this run, right? Because we're gonna be at the Blood Aqueduct. So let me talk a little bit about what do you want to do in Blood Aqueducts and what do you want to focus on. Basically what you're doing is you're gearing your character for maps. That's what you're doing in Blood Aqueducts, right? So if you want to run Tabula, for example, because you want a shield charge, let's say if you're playing Solo Self-Found, then it's a very good idea. If you are not playing Solo Self-Found, then you probably want to get a Tremor Rod, but you still want to farm the divination cards for Tabula because you can sell them, right? So you sell them for like 2 chaos, and for maybe like 4 chaos to 10 chaos, maybe you can buy a Tremor Rod, right? Maybe it's gonna be 20 chaos. I don't know, but if it's gonna be 20 chaos, then you still want to have a head start on farming your chaos recipe and farming the divination cards for Tabula, the humilities, because you definitely want the currency to like get the big ticket item to get your build started, right? Either Tabula or Tremor Rod, right? Whichever path you choose to take. In this zone, you gotta be careful with the porcupines. Unless you're crit with added cold, you're gonna get smashed by them. So make sure when you kill them, either you have your flasks up, the defensive ones, or you drop the mines, run away, and then detonate them. So Miner is in this comfortable position that you can choose whenever you kill the monsters. And you can just drop the mines on top of them, run away as far as you can, and then detonate them when you're like away, like whole screen away. Yeah? That's very easy to do. As you can see, I had flasks up here, so porcupines didn't hit me even because I hit them, so I blinded them, and also I have the 3000 evasion increased by like 70%, so that's a huge amount of evasion on me when I have all my flasks active. So we're killing this guy now for the skill point. Make sure to use Wave of Conviction. This is why Ball Lightning is not the best, because he just jumped away and like half of them missed, right? Half of them missed, which means I could have dealt even more damage if I just used Arc. So from this point on, I think I'm gonna stick to Arc because it's guaranteed to auto-target it, and it's just strong enough to kill it anyway. It's a very difficult fight in terms of like how mobile you have to be to dodge all these white balls. Yeah, so that's what you do in Blood Aqueducts, right? You farm your currency, you farm your chaos, like you start getting the chaos. Second thing is you try to gear up your character, you try to get enough portal scrolls. That's something you can start like really paying attention to. How many portal scrolls do you have? Because you're gonna be doing maps, you're gonna need portal scrolls, so you better have them, because if you have enough portal scrolls, like the early on, then soon enough you're gonna be able to like remove them from your filter and just buy them when you start farming actual currency, right? Because that's more efficient than just picking up every single portal scroll. So definitely pay attention to that. Other than that, pay attention to all of your pieces of gear. Look for like what is your weakest piece of gear that you need to replace, and then make sure to definitely pick up all of the rare items for that slot. Let's say it's gloves, then make sure you pick up all of the gloves. But if your gloves are pretty good, then maybe only identify rare gloves that have the right base for you. So if your evasion base, okay, only identify if you already have like decent gloves that you would be okay with mapping. Maybe pick up only the gloves that have the optimal base for you, which is the maximum evasion, right? So yeah, and speaking of like, right, we exit here at the Lunaris Concourse, right? Sorry, the bathhouse, and we're in the Lunaris Concourse. So we skip completely going through the entire harbor bridge, going through the Solaris Concourse, and going through half of the Solaris, right? I don't know, somehow it feels like less and it feels faster than doing it that way. So that's why I'm doing it this way, but maybe I can do like a run where I compare and actually measure how long it takes to walk through one or the other to definitively tell which one is actually better. This guy is not necessary to kill at all. I'm just doing it while walking. Yeah, and as you can see, arc hitting like on both sides, the back, that's the benefit of arc. It's so useful. It's so comfortable, like it farms stuff on both sides. These gloves are insane, right? Like 100 life. 100 life in a res, and you can craft another res on them. Like that's the type of an item you want to find in Blood Aqueducts. Just 100 fucking life. Essence of Torment. Torment, I think, is the minion one, right? I think Torment is the minion one. That's another archetype that people are asking about. Like, I would have to do a little bit more research about the current type of leveling for summoners. But I have leveled summoners before, and it was like the smoothest and easiest leveling experience. It's not the fastest, because I guess I just don't run enough. The thing is, I overkill too much. So I'm running as if I was running with a normal skill, but the benefit of the minion skills is that you kill more than you would normally do, and therefore you end up over leveled. So all you need to do is just run. All you need to do is just run, and you're gonna be fast. So minions definitely, like, I think minions might be even summoner might be even just completely broken in the harvest, because number one, you can fight all the scary beasts and not worry about it, because it's the minions that are gonna die to them and not you. You can have like a meat shield of them. And then also there is this new, I think, rallying cry, which gives a portion of your weapon's damage to your minions, which is insane, which is just what the fuck. Like, if it's gonna be any good for like a melee with Herald of Purity, with like a decent investment in Herald of Purity, if it's gonna be any, like, if it's gonna be usable and okay, then that means for minion builds it is absolutely beyond broken, because the amount of scaling you can do on your minions as a summoner with like the attack speed you can get for them is just so crazy. You get the offering, you get the extra levels, you get the extra attack speed from your ascendancy. You can do, for example, like, imagine minions with awakened multi-strike, faster attacks, minion speed. They can be machine guns. They can be so insanely fast in terms of how they attack. You can have specters that are machine guns, and you can have flat damage from your weapon. you can have like just the most insane amount of flat damage on it. Let's say if it's, I don't know if it scales only with physical or if it uses the attack speed of the weapon at all to like normalize it or not. If it doesn't normalize based on attack speed and based on crit chance and things like that, then you pick up the slowest weapon you can with the highest possible physical rolls. You've also added like elemental rolls on top of that, and you just have the most insane amount of flat damage you can have. You add it to your minions, you do Rallying Cry, and they demolish everything with like machine gun brutal amounts of damage. On top of that, since you're doing that, since you're stacking so much attack speed on your minions, you can do like auras as well, right? So that's where I think the mana reservation might be also useful for. I got pretty lost in this zone though. It took me a while to get to the door, but this is gonna be like the last fight before the Lunaris and Solaris, and then we are at Blood Aqueducts. And the time is like 340, something like that, right? So I am aware that this is the time that the Tai Killer can finish the entire campaign with everything, and I still have 2 acts to go after that. But still, this is a good time for me, and this is still the like a pretty decent way of leveling it. And I think these links definitely work. Like the setup that I have for Arc, like it's so much single target damage that it's very, very good. And I've tested a couple of them, and I've seen other people who are way faster than me have like way more struggle with single target and with damage in general. So I learned from mistakes of the players better than me, and this is definitely working out because this start is very, very powerful. And then we go to the Lunaris Concourse and just go down through the Harbor Bridge, and we fight Lunaris. If you have any questions about this particular build, Leaguestart, you can post them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many of them as I possibly can. And that's basically gonna be it, because we're gonna kill Lunaris and Solaris and the run is gonna be done here. In terms of like what level do you wanna farm until, like you farm until you're comfortable progressing. It depends on your goals. If you wanna be in maps as soon as possible, you don't farm Blood Aqueducts pretty much at all if your level is such that you don't get XP penalty. Other than that, you can farm until like level 60, for example. You can farm for your Tabula, you can farm until you get your Tremor Rod. It really depends on what you want to do with your build. And other than that, you can also farm, like if, for example, you can farm until you get 105 resist, so that you are capped for after you kill Kitava. When you get to Blood Aqueducts, also the first thing we want to do, or like one of the first things you can do, is you can do your lab, right? You can do the Cruel Lab immediately, because you're so strong right now, it's going to be a breeze. And what you want to pick up is the immunity to ignite and life regen. That's just like a very good quality of life. It also gives you some movement speed. So that's what you want to do. And we drop a first map. That's nice. Immediately dropping a map. So that's it for this guide, pretty much. This is my league start on the miner from the beginning of the game until the Blood Aqueducts. And then basically I would do the Blood Aqueduct farm. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time.